What's up, guys? Welcome to Poké Collab, where we collect, train, and battle together. Episode 8. We are here. Today's date is Thursday, October 17th, 2024. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, if you're listening to us. I'm Ivan from Chard, along with,
Oren from Block and Pixel.
and together we form Poké Collab. So, we got a full episode ready for you guys. Let's get to it. Or actually, you know what, Owen? Before we get to it,
Yeah.
let's do a rundown of what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
I just recently started playing Pokemon Scarlet Violet, so I'm pretty excited to get into that. We'll talk about that. GameStop has a new introduction in how to sell your cards, your graded cards. Owen will be talking about that. Last week was the completion of the Louisville 2025 Regional Championships. So if you were in that, we want to hear any comments down below, how you felt. We're going to go over the top three decks and the winner. I bought recently Stellar Crown purchases, so we'll get to see some of those. Um, and then we'll get to see what's buying singles or versus buying packs. Where do you fall into that category? What do you prefer to do? So yeah, all ready? Are you ready, Warren?
I am. Real quick. Ivan,
Awesome.
have you seen the Truman Show?
Yes.
Every time you host and you introduce and say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all I think about is Truman because anytime he meets anybody or says hi to anybody on that movie, that's what he says.
Yeah. I think I got
So
that from it actually.
so I just had to point that out.
Yeah. And if you have not seen that movie, go see that movie. That's one of Jim Carrey's highlighted movies, no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So let's get into our first topic. Talking about Scarlet Violet. I know it's been out, what is it, 2 years now? 3 years? I want to
Let me
say,
look.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's came out in 2020, 2021.
I'm looking.
Yeah. While Lauren gets that going, um, I'm late in the game coming into the video games. Of course, we're still kind of at the tail end, I want to say, of the card to TCG.
Okay,
But
here we go, Ivan. Sorry
yeah,
to cut you
but
off. It came
no, no,
out November 18th, 2022.
okay,
So
we're
two years ago. Coming
two
on
years.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And I've been playing Arceus, and then I kind of stepped away from it, and then once I got back into TCG, the Pokemon Scarlet Violet series is what kind of got me back into checking this out. And I know that Warren, you recommended playing Arceus first. But we went ahead and got the double pack of the Scarlet Violet because it's just like with playing the TCG and then playing it on live, and then like it's really cool to put it all together
Oh yeah.
because at one point, because you look at the cards, you have no idea like who the trainers are. Yeah, you know their names. Even like the Pokemon, the three Pokemon. I just recently just realized who your three primary Pokemon that you can choose start off with.
Yep.
So it's nice to like finally put everything together and put it into perspective. And I think that's what I'm liking Pokemon Scarlet Violet even more so.
I totally understand and completely agree. So I bought Scarlet Violet release date and played through it pretty quickly. Ariel and I both really got into that game. But I didn't get back into Pokemon TCG until 151. So like I had already played through Scarlet and Violet, the video games, and like I've kind of forgotten about my playthrough. So now I'm into the TCG, and it's been a while since I touched the video games. And like so now that Ivan got Scarlet Violet, I picked it back up, and now I'm working on my Pokedex. I'm like, man, this is sweet. Like now I have double the contacts because I have all the Pokemon, all the trainers from the TCG, and the video game aspect of all of those characters, and it just kind of puts it all together.
Yeah. What I'm loving, like immediately, like just right from the get-go, as soon as you put on the game, what got me is I'm big on it, is music and the effects and like just all that can encompasses the game. And just from the get-go, like that song that starts off, it's already catchy. It's got a catchy tune, and it just got me into like, okay, this is gonna be a great game. So just that aspect of it. I'm also looking up when did Arceus came out because I know that was um for the Nintendo Switch Legends
Looking it up.
that
It
came
was
out in.
before Scarlet Violet, January 28th, 2022.
Oh, so they both came out around the same.
Same year, but Arceus was beginning of the year. Scarlet Violet was end of the year.
Whoa. I have to see because I feel like Scarlet Violet's graphics,
Yeah.
they're better. I don't
Well,
know. That could.
it's kind of up for debate. So Arceus, I think Arceus looks really good. And the thing
Yeah.
about Arceus is it runs better. But I think it runs better because the world isn't as populated.
Okay.
Like, I think the reason Scarlet and Violet, you haven't played enough of it, you'll see that there are slowdowns. The frame rate isn't very good. And that's what most people are so frustrated about is that it just doesn't run very well.
Okay.
But like the world is so dense with people and Pokemon that like I know that they're really pushing the Switch to the limit. And like I personally don't think it detracts from the fun of the game. But yeah, Arceus does run better. But yeah, I could see what you're saying about like it sounds like you like the art style of Scarlet Violet probably better.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. The From Arceus, it just seemed like it was just it's hard to describe. I don't even know how to describe it. Like even like looking from like the art form of it, like I just feel like Scarlet Violet is more like a Mario type feel, rather than Arceus was more like a comic book feel, almost like a I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking of it right. Maybe I gotta look at it again. But I just feel like the Scarlet Violet has a more of a video game type, like I want that feel
Okay.
than
Gotcha.
Arceus did. So I don't know. But I think, yeah, like you said, like the more I play it, I'll probably find out more about it. Because I did play, I mean, I played Arceus quite a bit. I mean, I'm not like, super deep in it, but I did play enough to like appreciate it and stuff like that too. And I
Oh
like the
yeah.
music there,
Yeah.
but I think, or it could be I'm just on a high, with with Scarlet Violet right now that it's
Yeah.
like I like it way more
Well,
better.
also like being Hispanic in heritage for you, like I
Yeah.
think all of the Spanish little elements that are sprinkled throughout Scarlet Violet, like would probably be fun to just kind of have if that were your heritage. So like
Yeah.
that could play into it too, because there is a lot of Spanish tone to Scarlet Violet, which is
Okay.
cool. Um, I mean, you probably saw it just even from the introduction.
Yeah. As soon as immediately, like even like the school is
Yeah,
Naranja University, which is Orange University. So
yeah.
yeah, so
So that's
it's pretty
cool.
cool that yeah, with that little flair.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm definitely
Um,
looking forward to. And even I saw like the DLC was already out for Masquerade and also now Stellar Crown.
Yeah, Teal Mask. Yeah,
Yeah,
Teal Mask is for Twilight Masquerade.
and then the
And I forget what the other DLC is called, but that's for Stellar Crown.
yeah,
Um,
because it's got
Galapagos on it.
Galapagos in front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I haven't played the DLC at all. I just finished. Well, I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I just finished a big part of the post game yesterday, and I'm kind of finishing the last part of the post game, and I still have a lot of side quests to do too. So I don't really have a reason to buy the DLC yet.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's still a lot to do in that game, and I have 50 hours in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
game. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm
And
looking forward to it.
like for the Pokedex perspective, I texted you and Bacon Boy yesterday about
Yeah.
my progress in the Pokedex. I've never completed a Pokedex in any game, and I really feel like it's doable in Scarlet Violet. Like I feel like it's not an impossible chore, and it's actually like a worthwhile endeavor that's not going to suck up too much time for an adult, but like it's like a nice little um it's a good amount of challenge that doesn't take too much time. Like I think it's doable. If
Okay.
yeah.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you because in Arceus, you know how you can collect like three of the same, like you have to collect like multiple of the same Pokemon, right? Is
Yeah.
that the same thing in Scarlet Violet?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay. Oh,
Because for
wow.
Arceus, the storyline was you're really developing the Pokedex. You're really creating and researching the Pokemon to fill out the Pokedex with the information. But
Yeah.
for Scarlet Violet, it's a traditional Pokemon game. You just catch it once and then you have the information for the Pokedex. You don't even need to own it. Like I could trade you a Pokemon, you could trade me a Pokemon, we both get it in our Pokedex, then we just trade back. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We might be we might be doing that.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if you have any comments on things that you have enjoyed about Scarlet Violet, drop us a comment in the link down in the comment section below. And then yeah, we'll get to see what you guys think of the Scarlet Violet video game, even though I'm kind of late in the game. But as you can tell, like Orin is still in it. So yeah, the progress is quite large. But hey, I'm uh I'm ready to get started.
Where are you at this point?
Well, I'm really I just started yesterday and with life, things just happen. So, I'm actually ready to battle Nimona with
Okay.
with her Sprigatito and then I picked my Pokemon Fuecoco.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So
So,
you went the
let's
with the
start.
fire starter.
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent.
I stick with my roots with the fire. Cool. All right, now Orin, can you let us know what's going on with the GameStop and the new what can we say? New
Middleman grading
option, I guess. Yeah,
service.
the
Yeah.
middleman, yeah,
Yeah.
of selling our
This
graded cards.
is this is probably one of the bigger stories I would say of the year. Let me share my screen here. Am I sharing the correct screen, Ivan?
Yep, yep.
Okay. I posted a blog post on PokeCollab.com yesterday. I believe the GameStop page actually came out Tuesday. And what's going on here, I'll show you the GameStop page as well. So GameStop earlier this year, they started purchasing and selling PSA slabs and graded cards from PSA. But they just this week revealed that you can now submit your cards through GameStop to get them graded with PSA, which is a massive change in the industry. Middleman grading services have existed, I don't even know how long, probably as long as grading has been around.
Mhm.
And what that is instead of you going directly to PSA, filling out all the paperwork, shipping them to PSA, and then waiting, and then PSA shipping them back to you, and you paying all the fees involved. That's the standard procedure. Um, so a middleman, they take your cards from you, you pay them a fee, then they do all of the work. And then once they get the cards back from PSA, you collect them from your middleman. And the benefit to the consumer that the middleman provided was it just made it an easier process. You don't have to fill out the paperwork. You don't have to, perhaps the middleman could save you a little bit of money, depending on what the fees would be for shipping and that sort of stuff. But typically, you're not going to save any money with a middleman. It's just really to simplify the process. You're typically going to get better pricing if you would just go directly to PSA and had their subscription, depending on how many cards you grade a year, right?
Yeah.
Now, So middleman services were typically provided by like your local card shop. Some online card shops are doing it. And I had even thought about doing it with Block and Pixel. Now I'm very glad we didn't because GameStop is basically making middleman grading services obsolete. I think they're really going to monopolize this whole scene and really hurt that that source of revenue for the local card shop because they have priced it so well. Most middleman grading services aren't going to be priced this well. So let's take a look at this real quick. So GameStop, you can go to your GameStop, bring your raw cards from any of these trading card games. Pokemon, Magic, Lorcana, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Star Wars, Yu-Gi-Oh. And then you could also bring in any other type of card, whether it's a sports card or whatever. Like I have some Gundam Wing trading cards that aren't a trading card game. They're just upper deck cards that were for the show. So I'm assuming that's what they mean by all other cards. So let's say you have a Charizard from 151 you want to get graded. We're talking like if it gets a 10, it's worth like 600-700 bucks right now. So when you go to GameStop, you'll be paying 15.99 to get it graded. If you're a pro member from GameStop, which if you're not, I don't know why you wouldn't be. You save so much money being a pro member and you get better trade-in values and apparently you get free shipping
Yeah.
if you submit cards for grading. So let's say you're grading that single card, right? So you're paying them 15.99, then you're paying them 4.99 for the flat shipping fee. Now, that's for a declared value of 200. The note says you will be charged an additional fee if your card is worth more than $200. They don't really tell us what that additional fee is, so that's yet to be seen. I know why they're doing that, and that's because PSA will charge more depending on the value of the card too. So let's say you're doing a Charizard from 151, it gets a 10. Now, typically, if you're doing it directly with PSA, not only are you paying to ship it to PSA, which is going to be at least $5, but then PSA, depending on what you've told them you believe the value to be, they'll charge you insured shipping back. And typically, it can be $30, $40 potentially for PSA to ship back to you. That's typically what I've been paying for them to ship back to me. So GameStop is saving you that huge return shipping right off the bat. And then if you're a pro member, you're saving that shipping fee to PSA. So you're saving a lot right off the top on shipping fees. Not to mention that their grading fee is very close to what you'd be paying for a grading fee, even if you were a PSA Collectors Club member, which costs $150 a year. So I want to talk about this from two perspectives. I want to talk about this from the consumer's perspective, and then I want to talk about it from the industry's perspective, the trading card game industry's perspective. And from the consumer's perspective, this, in my opinion, is a win all the way around. It's really making it very convenient for kids and their parents to get cards graded that likely never would have. And even for people like us, I have a PSA Collectors Club membership for our Block and Pixel business, but we really don't grade a huge amount of cards every year. We're right at the point where it probably actually makes sense for us to not renew our PSA Collectors Club membership and just go through GameStop because that $150 fee, we would be able to grade, at, you know, 9 or 10 cards with that money, and then also do more and still probably break even. So for us, like I'll have to do the math to see how many cards we'd have to submit and utilize different promos from PSA to actually break even. But I think for us, at least for now, we will not renew, at least for next year. From a consumer perspective, Ivan, I want to get your opinion on this.
Oh, yes. So, like, good. I'm glad you, a couple things you mentioned there. You mentioned that going back to you, there's other places that use that you can use to get them to PSA. And I believe you used one in Arizona, right, Oren?
That was different.
Okay.
So there's a company called Arizona TCG. I did not use them as a middleman for grading. I sent cards that I had already had graded. I sent them
Oh, that's
cards
right.
to sell for me.
Okay.
So that's a totally different.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks, Oren. Thanks for
yeah,
clarifying that. Sorry.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. So no, this is a great. I think this is far because the fees is what gets me. So when you're not paying those fees, you're only paying 15.99. And then I am a pro member. Like, yeah, like you said, who's not a pro member? So if you get a pro member, you're just paying $16 right out, plus tax, I'm pretty sure. And then yeah. But what I want to know is how much has do GameStop take out of the amount that you're going to be getting for your card? Do we know that yet?
Oh, you get your card back, period. Like you don't have to sell it to GameStop.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So the
like if you take 10 cards to get them graded, you pay 15.99 a card. They send all 10 cards just for that fee, 15.99 per card. Once the grades are complete, you just go pick up your cards. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I think from a yeah, like you said, you hit all the notes. I think this is probably one of the best way to do it because I remember also too thinking about how many you have to send and then you could just send out however many you want. Like there's no it says I think it says there like there's no limit. Um no card minimum. There it is. No card minimum and no subscription required. Yeah, the top three and no submission forms. So it takes all the paperwork out the way too. You could just give it to them and then yeah, let them deal with it. I'm all about just a one-stop shop where you could just drop it off, get your card graded, and then go from there.
It's really making this convenient. So for again for like the typical collectors, especially for young people, for kids whose parents aren't familiar with like local card shops, but they take their kids to GameStop all the time. This is really gonna open up a lot of people to the world of grading that never would have been. So from that perspective, it's gonna create a lot more transactions when it comes to slabs and graded cards. I think the graded card market is going to continue to just grow and grow because of this, which is a good thing. And I think it's good for those kids that would never be able to have done this before. I know when I was a kid, I kind of had an idea of what grading was just from the sports card stuff because I was a huge baseball card collector and I would get my Beckett magazine that would tell me what things are worth.
Yeah.
And like if they were a PSA, whatever, like it was this value. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that sounds cool. But I had no clue like that there was a process to grading or how to do it. Um, and I'm assuming it's probably similar for kids now. Um, but now they could just go to GameStop with their parents and say, this is my favorite card, like it means a lot to me and I'm not going to play with it, but I want to get it graded. That's
Yeah.
great that they have this now.
No, exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned that because when we went to go, we were just at a GameStop. Um, I think we went to go get that's when I bought my Stellar Crown. And the employee there was just talking about how his son just loves opening pack. Like he just wants to open packs. He doesn't even know how to play. So he was saying that he's just paying money and like he's got all this stuff ready for like the holiday season where that he could just open them up and just be ready to see what he got. So yeah, and him being an employee for GameStop, it's going to make him think that, you know what, maybe I should try and, make my son or even me, even himself, be like, you know what, I'm going to keep these cards and just see what I can grade them for because I'm pretty sure he's in the know now. Now that everything's been going, speeding up the process and trying to grade cards and buy
Hmm.
graded cards. So I think he's gonna probably see this in a different light with his son, and just having him rip cards, but also be careful and try to yeah get more so trade him in and get more money for him.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it'll make it. I think this is a great thing for collectors. Like if you're a collector of graded slabs, I think graded slabs are going to be cheaper because there's going to be more supply. Um, So for collectors in general, I think this is a good thing. Now,
Yeah.
for uh, the small businesses, the people that are already providing a middleman service, local card shops that do it, I would be definitely adjusting my business practices and adjusting for losing that revenue.
Mm.
I think that if I were providing a middleman service, I would probably be preparing for all of that business to drop off. And like that's not to say that GameStop's evil here. They're seeing a market need. They're seeing that they're in the position to supply it, and they can undercut their competition, which just unfortunately happens to be those local card shops. So in a sense, like you can perceive it's GameStop being evil, but no, it's really just a smart business move for them. And yes, it's going to hurt small businesses, but if it's anything that small businesses know that they're always in need of is the ability to pivot and to adjust based on what's going in the market. So if a small local card shop or a small online middleman service doesn't see the writing on the wall, then and if they don't pivot, that's on them, and they're probably going to lose a lot of business. So, it's polarizing because it is going to hurt a lot of people in this industry that make money off of this. But I'm sorry for them, but I really think this does bring a lot of value to the consumers and the collectors in this hobby, especially the young people whose parents aren't in the know about grading, but now have this opportunity.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and I would say that too. Like it's gonna be, yeah, a lot of people go for the bigger, or the bigger companies are taking out the mom and pop shops. But like, but to be honest though, this is gonna be it's a good business move. Yeah, and I think for even for me, like that's gonna make me now want to go and do it instead of trying to find somebody else that can do it. So yeah, and also too, the $150 a year that you pay. I mean, that's totally not that could be used to pay for more cards get graded through GameStop. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be it's a good move. But yeah, we do feel for all of the small shops. But good. That was a good discussion there, Owen. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing us that information.
yeah, I'm
We'll definitely
excited to
be
see
yeah,
how this affects things.
yeah, for sure. Well, last weekend, was it the 12th? Yeah. The 12th and 13th was the Louisville championship finals, regional,
Regional.
not championship finals, in regional. Sorry. And so I wanted to take a look at the master class of course. Um, we see there that the top three decks were uh starting from we'll go from top to bottom, but we want to consider from three to three, two, and one. So the first place was a Raging Bolt Ogre Pond. Second place was a Lost Zone Box. And third place. Wait, am I in the right wait? Am I in the right one, Warren?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Caleb, yeah, yeah, okay, good. Sorry. And then the third place was a Palkia Dusknoir. And I've actually been wanting to see what this deck is all about. So I'm actually kind of stoked that it was in the third place. So let's take a look at the list. Oops.
And this deck was played by Kyle
Mhm.
Lesnowicz. So
Yeah,
congrats to Kyle for getting third place at the Louisville Regional.
yeah, awesome.
And I know that I've played some Dusknoir decks or decks that have used Dusknoir on TCG Live, and I hate them as their opponent. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they are pretty notorious for um knocking you out. But
Hmm.
also too, they knock themselves out. But at the same time, like yeah, it's a pretty decent ability to have from Duskull to Dusclops to Dusknoir. Um, and if you haven't faced like Orin, if you haven't faced a deck with Dusknoir in it, and then when you do, yeah, you hate that deck as much as possible.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I
So
get why people use it. It's a
yeah,
good play, but it's so annoying.
yeah, for sure. And what it is the ability, Dusknoir's ability is once during your turn, you may put 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. So of course, obviously, the the gist of this is to get Dusknoir out on your bench as quick as possible to then knock out your benched basic Pokemon and even Pokemon that have low HP that are just there for your um like the abilities. But still, it's a ridiculous card. Um, it's also using Palkia, and I think Palkia, I think for what you can do, the damage you can do, and also too with a big bench, because you need a big bench to use the Palkia V Star, because it does damage for each benched Pokemon that's in play, yours and your opponent's. So you can do up to about I want to say you can do what's that? So it's 20 for each. So you have five bench Pokemon. So you can do 260. Um, and then if you have, I want to see if he's using it. If you have the stadium where you can increase, oh no, because there isn't any. Oh yeah, he does have Terra, right? Does he have any Terra on this?
I don't see
Yeah.
that stadium here.
Okay. Wow, I'm shocked because he has a Greninja Terra. So he's not using that stadium underpaths where you can increase your bench to 8. So having Palkia V-Star there would actually be a pretty good play using the damage from your bench. But this is a pretty cool, pretty interesting deck. 93 bucks on TCG player. What do you think, Warren?
No, yeah, I think this is fun. It's a frustrating deck to play against, but it's probably a lot of fun to use. It's kind of I, I hate to use this term because it's obviously a good deck, but it's kind of spammy. Like,
Mm,
um, in the sense that like playing against it is probably just so frustrating.
yeah,
Um, but I appreciate it for what it is.
yeah,
You got your Greninja, you got your Radiant Greninja, that people leave on their bench for the ability.
yep,
Um, I don't, I haven't played against Blood Moon or Ursaluna too much, only a couple games. And I don't really remember it posing too much of a threat. Um, so this is a better card. Okay, its ability says Blood Moon used by this Pokemon costs one colorless energy less for each prize card your opponent has taken. So this is a heavy hitter towards the end of a match.
yep,
That can be uh, pretty devastating. So it's a cool card in its own right. Squawkabilly, standard we see in a lot of decks. Same with Pheasantipity and
yep,
Mew and Rotom. So a lot of abilities being used in this deck. Um, Palkia and Blood Moon Ursaluna are really the two heavy hitters in this deck, and maybe if you get your Greninja out potentially with the Shinobi Blade. But a
yeah,
unique deck. I love that we're at this phase in the meta where we're seeing such a wide variety in use in a single deck. Um, as a kid, I wouldn't have dreamt seeing a deck like this, where you've got your psychic, your water, your fighting, your colorless,
yep,
and your darkness all on one deck, um, and electric. But like
yeah,
we're in this era where abilities change the meta so much, and you can just have Pokemon that are if you think about like an MMORPG or something like that, where you have your various tasks that each player has. Like you're the supporter, you're the healer, you're the attacker. We've gotten to the point in this card game where we really have those key players that have a role to play and they're good at that role. And it's really cool just to see how creative people are getting with that concept.
yeah, I agree. And I think that's where they're actually kind of Pokemon is trying to get into because what we discussed what came out with Stellar Crown and what's coming out with Surging Sparks in a couple weeks. Like they want you to get as many different types of Pokemon in there as much as you can, or whatever can you can get. Maybe three. Like this one's perfect. I think with three, because I was looking also at the water energy. Like he only has water energy. I don't see any. Like he's not using different energies. It's just different Pokemon. You know what I mean? So like I see yeah, like different types. Yeah. But I think they want to try and focus like now on trying to have different, not only types, but different energies in your deck as well to use.
For yeah, for people like Terapagos
Yeah.
and man, I forget what else is in Stellar Crown. But yeah, for this specific deck, the attackers, the only attackers here that are going to be in play that actually attack are going to be your Palkia, your
Yeah.
Greninja, and your Blood Moon. And so yeah, water energy, that's all you really need for those three.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. But yeah, this looks like a pretty intriguing deck. Um, I know we mentioned it last time, but I would like to see some highlights on how this deck was used just to see. I mean, we've seen it in TCG Live, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah, I might. This is intriguing enough for me to even want to try in TCG Live, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's sweet is that we could just copy the deck list and put it
Oh
in.
yeah, so let me just show that real quick. So on each deck on Limitless TCG, you have this copy to clipboard button. And if you utilize that and then go into Pokemon TCG Live, when you're making a deck, it asks you like if you want to start from scratch or like you can paste from your clipboard. And that's what they're referring to. That's such a handy feature for deck building.
And look, Orange, like below that, we just talked about that last week in episode 7, is making proxies.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't even
Wow.
notice that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, proxies. I've done more reading on proxies, and it's not just a Pokemon question. It's also like a Magic the Gathering question. Like, when are proxies okay? Um, and actually just watched a video yesterday from a local card shop here in Cleveland. Um, their name's escaping me right now, but basically they pulled up Magic's actual rules and regulations, and Magic, their official stance on proxies is use them, but don't use them in sanctioned play. Outside of sanctioned play, use them all you want. So I could not find any official stance from Pokemon. We still have to kind of just derive, or
Yeah.
I can't think of the right word, but you think of the word derive. We just kind of have to derive what their stance is based on what they've provided us with. And Pokemon has provided us with TCG Live, which is again a virtual proxy in a sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool that they have this on here. And TCG and Limitless TCG, this is a massive website.
Yeah.
Um, like if the Pokemon Company is partially owned and operated by Nintendo. And Nintendo, we all know how litigious they can be and are. Nintendo's going after everything and anything right now. And proxies, if the Pokemon Company really cared about proxies, they'd be going after sites like
Yeah.
Limitless TCG to get this stuff pulled, or be suing them. So the fact that that's not happening is more of an indication that they're okay with it. So yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
pointing that out, Evan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Want to move on to the second place
Yeah, second
winner?
place. Um, second place. Oh, I just escaped my there he is. Michael Davidson.
Yeah.
The one. Yeah. So he's using the Lost Zone, which I don't know which worse. I don't know which is worse, a Ducks facing a Dusknoir deck or a Lost Zone deck. Because I don't know. I can't get into I just don't like the Lost Zone. Anytime I see it, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be in for it. So um yeah, I think the whole Lost Zone, unless unless you're gonna be using it, I think it's by far I think my worst enemy, especially with using the Cramorant. Um, he can do so much damage, 110 without even with no cards attached to him. So, but I think this one is too used for let me see here. Using the Lost Zone, Lost Mine with Sableye, and then Comfy, looking up two cards, and you put one of them into the Lost Zone. So yeah, there's a lot. And then there's also Spirit Bomb or Spirit Tomb, basic Pokemon V, have no abilities. So that's also a crucial card to have when you got some out there that a lot of our decks are relying on abilities. This one, the basic V have no abilities. So this is kind of a one that uh definitely don't want to be using with because there are my decks, not all of them, but I know my water one that does use um some Vs like a Palkia or a Palkia V. And I'm pretty sure this deck probably knocked out Palkia's the rank number round number three the third place. If I'm, if we put things two and two together, I think this they might have fought together, obviously, but I think this pie was the kryptonite to Palkia.
Just
Trying to
looking at
see
the
here.
trainers here.
Yeah,
Lots of trainers in this deck. 42 trainers out of 60 cards.
that's a lot. I don't think. What's your standard on having trainers in your deck?
It's definitely trainer heavy. I don't think it's 42 out of 60 heavy. I haven't looked at my deck in a while. I probably need to change it. Now the meta's changed a lot. The Blissey deck that I was using, I can't even compete anymore. Um
Really?
yeah, I've been losing a lot. So I need to change it up. Maybe I'll switch it up to one of these decks. But yeah, I mean, I think trainer heavy decks have become the norm. Like we think about um is it Iron Thorns,
Yeah.
where you literally only have four Pokemon. Um
Wow.
which I've tried playing with, and it's not an easy deck to play. So um even more kudos to the World Championship winner for 2024 winning with that deck. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean we've definitely seen in the meta, if you've been out of the trading card game for a while, I think you and I, our audience primarily is hobbyists, not really like people competing. So you might not be familiar with the fact that the game has changed to the point where it's so trainer heavy. But yeah, we've definitely been seeing decks that are primarily trainer based.
Yeah. What's crazy to me is I want to know how many times are they doing mulligans and like how are they able to get a basic Pokemon when you got, man, what's the percentage on that, Orin? You have 10 Pokemon.
Yeah, so 1/6 of your deck, they're all basic. All of the Pokemon in this deck are basic. So 1/6 of
Okay.
your deck is Pokemon. So you draw 7 cards at the beginning. So 1/6. So 10 out of 60, and you draw 7. I'm not mathing quickly in my head, but I don't know. I can't do it right now.
But the point of the fact is that the fact that you're not going to be, I don't know how they're drawing
Yeah.
basic Pokemon when you have 42 trainers. I mean, that's my, I like to see this as well.
Yeah.
See how this is being played because, man, that's a
Probably
lot of,
lots of mulligans.
yeah, you're probably giving your opponent maybe 4 to 5 mulligans if I can.
Potentially, yeah. But I mean
Yeah.
it's an interesting deck.
Yeah.
Probably not one I'd personally want to play.
Man, you got to know it like from the back of your hand because
Yeah,
that's a
and I,
lot.
I like that you point that out because this exact deck was also used by the person who placed 53rd.
Oh,
So that kind of, I mean, 53rd is still a good place, because I think it was, yeah, 1,938 players.
Yeah.
So placing 53rd is still very good.
Yeah.
You can
I see
see
what you're
here that Michael Davidson, who won second, congratulations, Michael,
saying.
probably has a better handle on this deck than Caleb Rogerson. So
Yeah.
either
Yep.
way, they both placed well. Very unique deck, very trainer heavy deck. No stage one or stage two Pokemon, all basic, which is intriguing. Um, some two prizers with Blood Moon Ursaluna and Iron Hands.
Yeah.
The rest being single prizers. So yeah, pretty cool deck.
Yeah. And it's also quite cheap. This one's
Yeah,
69. $3 less.
not bad at all.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our first place winner.
That is Caleb Gedimer. So
All right,
congratulations,
Caleb.
Caleb, on your first place
Nice.
victory.
Cool. And he was using the Raging Bolt Algrapon, which I think this is probably one of the most common decks. I think this is the one that won in Maryland, I believe. Baltimore. Was this I think this was the one, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. But yeah, I mean it's got the same pretty much almost the same as the third place deck, which had the Frenzy, the Squagabilly, Radiant Greninja. All of them have Radiant Greninja. Um, he has a Slitherwing in there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Huh. That's in
Kona versus Subaru Crosstrek. Look what Kona has and what Crosstrek doesn't.
what's going on right now.
Every time.
You need that ad blocker, Ivan.
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm just gonna leave this in because it's just another reminder of why you need an ad blocker.
Oh my goodness. I have no idea what was even going on. I didn't click anything at all.
That's bizarre. Okay, so
Oh my goodness.
Slitherwing. I'm trying to figure out why you would have this. So with two fighting energy, this Pokemon also does 90 damage to itself. Your opponent's active Pokemon is not burned. I just don't know why you would ever utilize this. I mean, there's
Yeah, why?
only three fighting energy in the entire deck. You would never use two of those on Slitherwing. Stomp off, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. That's just not that great of an attack.
I
I need to go watch this deck in use.
yeah.
I caught very brief moments of part of day one of Louisville,
Okay.
but I didn't watch the top placements. So I don't understand why this card is here.
And and two, like I'm trying to look at the okay. Maybe what other because the other ancient Pokemon is Raging Bolt, no?
Hmm.
Okay, so Raging Bolt and Slithering are your only ancient, and you have Professor Zeta's Vitality. And I'm wondering if do you have no, he doesn't have that either. He doesn't have the well, yeah, Earthen Vessel, but he doesn't have the capsule, the
Yeah,
ancient. So yeah, that's really weird. Man, I want to see this. This is the most expensive deck too. $125.
which I mean is still reasonable. That's why I love this
Yeah.
game. Like you can compete and win
With yeah,
without spending a ton of
breaking the
money.
bank. Yeah.
I love the how I love how democratized, I think that's the right word,
Hmm.
the Pokemon TCG has become, and that really anyone can figure out how to get 125 bucks to put a deck together.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that about the Pokemon TCG compared to some others that I know are much more expensive to compete in.
Yeah, for sure. I have to check this deck out because I know that's pretty wild. And you have four Raging Bolts and then the Agripons. And that's pretty much like your only I would think that's the only ones that you're going to be attacking with, unless it's Slitherwing. But unless he goes for he's trying to hit your deck, then you go for Slitherwing. But yeah, that's crazy.
So just another comment, we have another deck here that's all basic Pokemon, no stage one, no stage two.
Oh yeah,
So we're seeing another trend here, and that's not utilizing evolutions of Pokemon and
yeah,
really sticking to your basics, keeping it simple. We saw with the World Championships, the Iron Thorns, 4 Iron Thorns. That was the only Pokemon in the entire deck,
Yeah.
and that won out. So yeah, keeping decks simple, fast to set up, it seems to be a trend
Yeah.
that is working in this current meta.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, there you have it. There's our first place winner. Congrats to you, Caleb, on getting your win, and hopefully that will advance you to another round if you can to the championship.
Excellent.
Awesome. So moving on to our next segment is on how to pretty much. I love Stellar Crown. I think Stellar Crown is going to be one of my top um favorites, as already is 151 and Paradox Rift and Obsidian Flames. But I was able to my wife and I were able to purchase because we purchased some of the booster boxes, and the pulls were good, but we really wanted the Terra cards that came out. So we ended up buying the Cinderace, if I
Oh,
can get that
nice.
in there. There it is. So we bought the Cinderace. We also bought the special art of Cinderace, which is really cool. This is my favorite card, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What marketplace did you buy these singles from?
So we use TGG Player. Um, it was kind of from various locations that are
Yeah,
on there, various stores. But we found out this is probably the best. This is Lapras,
nice.
which actually I'm using him. Oh, come on. Focus here. Ah, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
So I'm actually losing in my Chim Pow deck, I've added him into Lapras. I'm interested to see how Ariel would actually play with if she were to get Lapras in there. Just because of her ability to look up 20 cards
Yeah, that's wild.
and
That's
you can
wild.
attach them. Yeah. So this is our second favorite is Terrapagos. I think just to like, oh come on. Just the look of the cards. Ah,
I love the rainbow borders on these. It's so
yeah.
much better than the old rainbow cards
Yeah,
where the
I
entire
agree.
card was rainbow. I love the rainbow border so much better.
Oh, sorry, Orin. Sorry guys, can't get it really in there.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. But and then our last one is a Garvantula.
Nice. Yeah, this is a fun set. Those are some
Yeah.
awesome pulls.
And then we also got I think I had it here. We got a reboot
Oh,
special
cool.
illustration rare. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, these were the cool pulls that we got. And it's something that actually and I bought two more because he's going in my deck.
Oh, cool.
So I'm actually kind of excited for it. He's gonna be replacing I have to see because I'm gonna be trying to go similar to my deck that I have in TCG Live. But I am gonna be making some space for him. And of course it'd be with Charizard. Charizard's gonna be fueling him. I've come to the realization that Charizard is a good Pokemon to have to energize. But also two Cinderace just does that much damage. He does so much more. So I'm gonna see how that goes. Um, in the fire deck, adding it in.
Yeah, the Terra Charizard really only is a heavy hitter towards the end when
Yeah.
your opponent has taken more prize cards. Like he just doesn't do that much damage until towards the end of the match. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, and that's some of the problems I've been running into.
Okay.
And so I feel like using him is a 1-2 punch kind of type of deal because you can retreat him with no cost and then grab uh Charizard in there and then can be able to have a switch, do the move, and then switch him back to Cinderace to get him back that move that he can do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely some you getting used to and trying to get it going and trying to get some damage in. But I think he's going to be a great addition. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Sounds good.
But yeah, but let us know what's your where are you at in trying to get cards? Are you more of a independent buying them singles, or do you like to rip and pull? Where do you fall or in this category?
Yeah, that's kind of a debate that you see a lot in the Pokemon community is do you collect by buying packs and ripping or buying singles? Um, I kind of like the mixture of both. You know, the most balanced approach I've seen is an individual shared that they have a set allotment of what they buy for each set that comes out. So I let's just use this as an example. Let's say it's a special set like 151. I'll allow myself to buy a booster bundle, an ETB, and one of each of the special collector's boxes. And that's it. That's all I'm allowed to get for that special set. And if I don't pull something, I'll buy the singles. Or let's say it's a normal set. I'll buy one booster box and one ETB. And that's all I'll buy for sealed packs. If I don't get a certain card, I'll buy singles. Economically speaking, buying singles is always the way to go. You will always get a better bang for your buck buying singles. Uh, I do know that it is appealing to pull cards from packs and to have cards in your binders or in your collection that you personally pulled. Um, it wasn't handled by someone else that you don't know how they handled it or whatever. I get that. But from a wallet perspective, a budget perspective, buying singles always wins out. So I try to be balanced. It's not always easy to be balanced. Typically speaking, if we're balanced in any aspect of life, it's usually best. Like I've also seen the complete opposite, and so it's like the pendulum, right? And how it swings. There's the one side where you have the person that only ever buys singles, but then they never get the joy of opening a blind pack, right? But then you have the other person on the other side that they'll go for a complete set and they don't let themselves ever buy one single. Like they have to pull every single one. And we can see just the ratchet that is of like there's just that one special illustration rare that I cannot pull, and then they're just blowing money on packs. So it's just like I try to be in that center. You know, I like the joy of opening some packs, but I also like getting the cards that I actually want, which sometimes you just have to buy them.
Yeah, no, correct. And I like I think we used an example previously in another episode. I can't remember where I believe one individual I think he bought two booster packs and an ETB or something like that. Remember, I think we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
touched base on that. So I think that's kind of like the best way to do it. And yeah, you have the thrill of ripping and see what you get, and then go from there, you know. But to rip every single time, like I'm there, but I can see where when I see money going, it's like I'm not getting what I need. I keep getting like same like basic ones. It's like, okay, I think it's time to start changing the mindset to possibly buying singles, you know,
for
and going
sure.
from there.
And if you can be satisfied going just for a main set, so we're talking the cards that are numbered within the main set that don't go beyond that aren't secret rares, you can complete main sets for dirt cheap buying singles. Um, we're probably talking sub $100 for a lot of sets just to complete a main set, because the only cards that have any value in a main set is going to be like your EXs, your Vs,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, your V stars. And those might demand a couple bucks, depending on the set. You can get all your commons, uncommons, your of both non-hollow and reverse hollow, and then even your hollow rares and non-hollow rares. All of that you can get really cheap buying singles. So yeah, if you can be satisfied with just main sets, you can really complete them for not a lot of money. And that could be a great project for people that have young kids that don't want to put too much into this. Like there's a major draw to buying singles.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Well, there you go. Hope that that's kind of beneficial for you and where you stand. You can also, drop us a comment. What do you think? Do you rather pull and rip and pull as much as you can or buy individual cards? Alrighty. Well, that does it for episode 8. Thanks for being here, Oren. It's always been a pleasure sitting here and
Agreed.
talking about our great hobby.
Yep, I love it.
Awesome. Just want to mention a couple of things. Check out our merch site. It's live. It's been live now since episode 7. So go ahead, check it out. Also too, if you want to sign up, please look at our website. I know you're on our YouTube channel right here, but if you want to look up at our website, pokecollab.com, the first 100 members get a alpha badge. So if you want that alpha badge, make sure you subscribe to our website. So, what is another way they can reach out to you, Oren?
So I primarily hang out on PokeCollab.com. So as I mentioned, sign up over there. But I also am on YouTube at Block and Pixel, and you can check out some of my personal videos on Block at youtube.com/ at Block and Pixel or whatever it is. But yeah, you'll find me.
There you go. And I'm at Chard216 on YouTube. You can also look me up on Chard with TCG Player as well. Check out our inventory there if you're into buying singles, as we just talked about. Alrighty. Well, this is Poké Collab, where we collect, train, and battle together. And we'll see you guys next week on episode 9.
See ya.
Later.